Our candidates for mayor, I see Steve Brown to tell us who you are and what your priorities are, and then we'll ask you questions, okay?
My name is Steve Brown. I'm running for mayor in the city of San Jose. How many San Joseans do we have here? I hope 100%. Thank you for coming out. I think it's very critical at this standpoint that we have a voice to fight for free market solutions to some of our biggest issues that we have in San Jose. Some of the biggest issues that we have in San Jose right now is housing shortage, the homeless crisis that we have, as well as rebuilding our police force. Right now, I've been very disappointed with our current mayor. When our mayor was elected 4 years ago, he promised so many different things within our city. He promised that he was going to take care of our homelessness issues. He promised that he was going to go through in step with pension reform issues that he had addressed while he was a city council member, all of which have changed. Here we are in this state in 2018, and the current stage of how to deal with our situation and our problems is to throw more money at it. I liken our situation with local politics right now, especially with our mayor, like a college student that's sitting in a dorm somewhere, suffering, needing some money, and begging to have a credit card. And they've already maxed out 3 or 4. They're dropping their classes, they're not being successful in any way, but they're asking you for more money. I recall back at Measure F in 2016, the fight was, if we pass Measure F, we're going to rebuild our police department. I watched as the substation that we've had in South San Jose for years and spent tens of millions of dollars on hasn't been occupied, just past maybe having some training classes there. I've watched when I ask questions, particular to our exact mayor, and I ask, how many patrol officers are you going to increase in this district and that district? The answer I always get is, this is the overall target that we're going to hit in a number of years. I'm a business owner. I'm a security expert. I grew up in San Jose. I met my high school sweetheart, and I married her in San Jose. I raised my 2 children in San Jose. I'm invested in San Jose. And as I look at where we're going, fiscally, I'm terrified. I'm terrified, and as I look at some of the decisions that are made...
we had to stop things.
Sorry. I couldn't know it was here.
I know, but we're sticking to it, and we're holding all the candidates to it, okay?
We have lots of questions because there's only one of you. What efforts will you support to reduce the $4 billion in unfunded liabilities and pensions faced by the city of San Jose?
I think that that's a fiscal cliff that we're heading for. A lot of people have been avoiding that. Politically, it's a nightmare for a lot of candidates out there. If we address it a certain particular way, if we're realistic with it, will we get elected? And I can tell you, I'm not running a campaign for special interest. I'm running a campaign to actually change the city. And I can tell you, we have to sit down. We have to sit down with our POA. We have to sit down and we have to figure out a real, meaningful solution. We can't just keep on applying more money to an issue and hope that it goes away. It's not going to work that way. And our current path that we're leading towards is disastrous. There's no other way but to address it and sit down.
Do you support encouraging faith-based organizations to further handle homelessness?
Well, absolutely. I know that overall within our city, within our county, our faith-based organizations that have been based for decades upon decades have been the most successful. I personally volunteer at City Team every week, and I can tell you firsthand, watching that, that's a successful brand. That brand has been around well before I was born. And I'm still pretty young, but that's going back quite a bit. And looking at that success rate, it's phenomenal. One of the issues that I do have in addressing that problem is that the way the government works is it dumps more money. Currently, we're spending about $71,000, $72,000 annually per each and every homeless person that we have in San Jose. And that's a statistic and a number that's listed in San Jose's website. Overall, with Measure A that we passed, that $1 billion or just under, we're looking at $148,000 annually that we're going to spend for each homeless person. That's an increase. And at no point have we discussed that $148,000 from Measure A actually moving back to $71,000 or $72,000 we haven't spent. That's fiscal irresponsibility.
What should be done to protect the citizens of San Jose from illegal aliens who have been convicted of crimes and released into our neighborhood?
I could say this: let law enforcement do their job. When we walk into a dentist's office with a tooth that's painful, we rely on that dentist to take care of that job. I do not want to see politicking in law enforcement. I'm tired of watching our law enforcement officers, our sheriff's deputies, our police officers having their hands tied behind their back and not being able to do their job. There's a reason why the Lady Liberty, or rather justice, the scales of justice, is blind, with a bandage around the eyes. It's supposed to be blind, not to look at politics, but just look at the actual letter of the law. If there's a concern, particular with our letter of the law, our mode of law is supposed to be to take it back to the voters. If it hasn't been taken back to the voters, we enact our law and enforce it.
What would you do to lower crime in our city different from the current mayor?
My question again, getting some great ones. I think it's very, very important for us to look at what has been working. Community policing has been a term that we really haven't addressed in a number of years. I remember back when we had the Mayor's Day Task Force Unit, back when Susan Hammer was mayor of San Jose. I remember the work that we did on the streets and engaging our community one-on-one. We're at a point now where I could go an entire week and probably name out a dozen instances where I've watched people driving under the influence. I could name out easily within a month some dozen times that I watched somebody either vandalizing by way of spray painting or doing some other crime on the street. I think it's very, very important right now to actually address the areas where our San Jose Police Department operates and actually increase headcount for officers in particular areas. I know that in District X-Ray and District Yellow, where I actually reside, the officer count hasn't increased or changed since the late 90s, and that's a problem.
This question, I'm not sure, the person who wrote it will probably have to help me out here. How do you plan to address the dumping issue or jumping issue? We can't.
Probably dumping.
Dumping issue of town.
So who
On
asked the
Monterey
question
Highway.
so I can get some specifics?
Yeah.
So did you mean dumping with regards to the homeless and the trash and the collection and all of that?
Huge piles of trash.
On the freeway.
Yeah, with neighborhoods, people dumping their couches.
Right. I think there's two major components to that. One is that when we have it start off and we fail to clean it up, it grows. People see a mattress or two, they see some rubbish or junk, and they say, that's a spot for me to dump mine too. And in the middle of the night, they'll dump off, and by the time it comes morning, it's tripled or doubled. So I think addressing that right away. Having a tip line for members of the community to actually call in, report that dumping, that's very important. Also having a task force created. We don't have any more task forces out there. We don't have any groups that are assigned to take care of a particular area or a problem. I know that having a task force throughout the whole entire city is a difficult task. But if we have a half dozen hired folks that are on board that move around without the rest of these offenders knowing where they're going in a particular week or a month working, may help considerably.
Thank you, that's all we have.